thought it would be fitting to read the Storm book today. One of the prettiest books. It is day in the country and everything is hot. The grass looks dry and parched. The buttercups are sticky with dust. The daisies' white petals look gray, and all of the flowers, the rambler roses climbing up the gate, the hollyhocks leaning against the house, hang limply on their stems. The little boy can almost see the heat quivering up the mist from the earth. A little caterpillar climbs carefully up a dusty blade of grass and then climbs down again. There is a special hot stillness over everything. The white fox terrier has crawled under the latticework of the porch and lies sleeping in the shade. Even the birds seem too hot to sing, for there is not a sound among the leaves. Think he's in the country or the city? That's right. But the lazy sky begins to shift and the yellow heat turns gray, and everything is the same color, one enormous listless gray world where not a breath stirs and not the birds don't sing. There isn't the slightest motion of a branch, the slightest whisper of a breeze, and there still is something expectant in the growing darkness. Something is astir, something soundless and still for which the little boy waits. He waits and he sees dark clouds beginning to form, throwing their shadow over the parched fields, moving one after another until they cover the sky and the world is black as night. A little cool wind suddenly races through the trees, sways the rambler roses, bends the daisies and buttercups, and the Queen Anne's lace. That's my favorite flower. It's a wild carrot, you guys. And the long grass until they make a great silver siding stretch down the hill. Then it happens. Shooting through the sky like a streak of starlight comes a flash so beautiful, so fast, that the little boy barely has time to see the flowers straining into the storm wind. "Oh, Mother," he calls. "What is that?" There's his mother. The boy's running. And look what it was. "Lightning," his mother answers. "That's our very own lamplight comes from." The little boy thinks of the lamp in his room with its warm golden glow, and he thinks of the lightning flashing through the sky. The lightning was like a wild white wolf gently running free in the woods, and the lamp like a gentle white terrier who came when the little boy called. And now from somewhere beyond the hill comes great rolling of thunder. "What's that?" the little boy shouts. Rain clouds breaking against each other. And that is the sound they make, his mother says. Now there is a silence again in the dark world, stillness, and then the whole sky lights up in one blinding, starry flash of lightning. The sky darkens again under the thunder draws closer, rolling loudly nearer until with a sudden explosion, it crashes overhead and a silver torrent of rain slants down. The daisies bend almost to the ground under the tearing weight of the wind, and the rain sweeping over the rambler roses and the trees as they toss in the cool, huge arms of the storm. Look at the tree whipping in the wind. There's the plants bending. Miles away in a storm-darkened city, a young man closes his book and gets up to look out the window. Below him on the street, the lightened store windows shine on the wet sidewalks, and every flash of lightning shows people running by, newspapers over their heads or umbrellas held down in front of them to buffet the wind and the rain. The tops of the tall buildings look cut off by the storm darkness, and the little city tree strains at their roots and their loop fence circles. And the wind, it whips the leaves from their branches. The automobile tires make swishing sounds as they pass. There's the man. At the seashore, an old fisherman stands boot deep into the waves, and the wind and the rain splatter against his oil skin with a terrible beating sound. His face is wet with sea spray and rain. When the thunder roars, nothing else can be heard. Not the wild splashing of the black waves, nor the drive of the rain against the oilskin. It seems as though there is nothing in the world but the tremendous ear-splitting of the thunder, followed by streak after streak of cloud-rending light. Once, when the lightning flashes, a little brown sandpiper skids across the sand on its way home, so swiftly that he was gone before the light leaves the sky. The illustrations are showing us the wind is blowing so fast. Look at those tiny winds. The waves are moving quickly. In the mountains, the rain comes down like a waterfall. Each crash of thunder sounds as though the rocks of the mountains were splitting apart, but each flash of lightning shows them solid and quiet against the sky. A young husband herds its sheep to shelter. His wife looks out the window at the storm-torn hills while their baby sleeps quietly in her arms. Seems peaceful inside, doesn't it? But outside the window, rain is falling. The rain drives against the windows of the little boy's house. It beats a loud, tattooing pitty-patting on the roof, and the wind rising and falling in the trees sound like the sea breaking against the shore. Slowly the storm subsides. The sky begins to brighten, and the thunder rolls away, and only from far, far off now can the little boy hear the thunder. As the wind blows the great clouds away from the cool, wet land, the loud pitter-patting on the roof grows softer and softer and slowly becomes a dull pitter-pat, pit, pit, pit. And at last it stops altogether. The air is clean and fresh and smells of wet earth and growing things. The rambler roses have covered the ground with a shower of wind-driven, sweet-smelling petals. The daisies are still bent from the weight of the rain, and their moist white petals cling together. But already the buttercups are standing straight, fresh and glistening, with one clear raindrop cupped in each shiny yellow blossom. A queer yellow light spreads over the earth now, so faint, so fine, so beautiful, that the little boy lets out his breath with a soft whistling sound. And suddenly all the birds break into song. The glistening wet trees are loud with sharp, quick titterings of long, full-noted calls. Here and there, the sparkling grass, a quick brown sparrow pecks around looking for worms. The light covers everything now. The house and the hollyhocks, the great stretch of grass, the trees and the fresh, cool face of the little boy who stands in the doorway watching. "What's that?" he suddenly calls to his mother. She comes to the door and looks through the yellow light to a great, curving, misty arch of color. That, coming from farther than they can see, bends across the sky, over the city, over the yellow stormed whipped sand, over the clean-smelling, bird-singing mountains, over the hill towards the little boy's door. It's beautiful. "And that's the rainbow, little son," says his mother, "to show the storm has passed." And she slipped her arm around him so gently he didn't notice as he watched the beautiful sunlight colors arching over the world. The end.